This mutation is called Wheel of Misfortune. We all know what that is. If you're looking for your dose of RNG, hey, you don't need to go to Hearthstone. We have it here, right here in Starcraft. But yes, Wheel of Misfortune has one main mutator active. It is the Chaos Studio. It's a Supergirl thing. That's really cool. Anyway, Chaos Studios. This is the main mutator, and over the course of the mission, 3 mutators will be present, and they will be rotated out over the course of time, and they are going to be made specifically to annoy the players, because that is how RNG works in this game. The most inconvenient mutator will appear when you are least expecting it, and as you can see over here, Dehaka having to tend with currently diffusion, so he has to chill out for a little while until the diffusion mutator tends to roll away. We also have transmutation, which is probably not ideal with diffusion, especially with Dehaka walking around. So very intelligently, Dehaka is actually waiting until one of those mutators. Oh, he's going in. He wants to do this. He's going full heal, and he also has microtransactions, which is somewhat problematic. He might just end up devouring. Oh, he's going to end up devouring the Ultralisk, and now he's going to be on the cooldown. But you can see how quickly this thing can snowball out of control if he's not careful. Anyway, let us have a look at the masteries. While the players get started, we have Devour Healing, we have Backleader Duration, and the Dehaka Attack Speed. Pretty much the ideal choices here for this commander. He's also picked the Primal Contender Prestige, so his back leaders are going to be really good, and they actually might help him push throughout the course of the mission, because sometimes it may be a little bit problematic. The Dehaka's pretty jumping in here. He wants to try and devour that sentry, but unfortunately the sentry does end up transmutating up, and now the Dehaka is seeing that this might be somewhat problematic. Has to be a little bit careful. Does manage to eat up that one High Templar that got transmutated, but yeah, the Dehaka is taking a toll on his own economy over here. This is actually this is very convenient. He can actually deal with the Siege Tank really effectively there. And finally, we have the Phoenix. So Phoenix is gone for Phoenix Energy Regeneration, 30 points of the AI Vitality, and then a 25-5 split into the Chrono Boost Starting Supply. All optimal selections here. And we have the Network Administrator Mastery that has, or Prestige, that has been selected. And I think I was talking to someone on my YouTube channel, one of the other videos, I was saying this should be renamed to Ragelot Administrator, because that's pretty much what this mastery is going to be. But yeah, you can see the Dehaka has slowly started to push through. Even given the fact that there is diffusion and there is transmutation, he has managed to slowly work his way through these units here. This is going to be a little bit difficult. Diffusion dealing a lot of damage, and microtransactions completely stifling his economy as well. But most importantly, he has his Glevik's Den. Mervar's Den is on the way as well, so he hasn't really been too affected by that. His main issues are going to be dealing with these units, and he's going to be utilizing SPAC leaders a lot over here rather than just regular units. But now Galdalis is out. Galdalis just jumps in and completely shreds through everything here, which is really nice. And now Phoenix over here now is wanting to slowly push through, and I think we also have a few of those other units that he's going to be taking advantage of the tactical gate weapons. Galdalis is jumping in, just cutting his way through. Unfortunately, diffusion is still active, so Galdalis basically wrecks himself. And now Dehaka has managed to devour one of the hybrids, and this is where a problem might start to occur. These things are going to start feeding into transmutation, these tiny little units here, so you're going to end up with a lot of big hybrids here. But fortunately enough, not too many of these hybrid dominators over here. This thing is going to probably end up transmuting as well. Oh, cool, it ended up dying. So now Glevik is just going to be here, and he's just going to tank this thing like a complete boss. Funnily enough, Glevik does have a map boss tag to his name in the editor, so that's also kind of cool. But yeah, he's going to be able to take out pretty much all of these units without any too many issues. But you can see here how Galdalis is just slowly starting to kill himself here, but that area has been cleared as well. Pretty much, I think they pretty much bought the sledgehammer here to try and deal with this. But now, unfortunately, the next mutator that is active is Void Reanimators. Now, Void Reanimators, when you are playing a regular mutation with Void Reanimators will only spawn after the 2-minute mark, I believe. And additionally, they will only spawn after you have killed a certain unit. And given that these two conditions are both valid right now, it means that the Void Reanimator has already spawned. There will be maybe several Void Reanimators that have spawned, and they are making their way towards the dead enemy units here. So most of the units that have been killed are in this area and on the northern side, so Dehaka will have to be careful, maybe adding a little bit more static defense here to make sure that the unit trickle does not start harassing these units. And you can see here, there's already a few units that are coming in, and any unit that seems to be just randomly moving around, that is where a Void Reanimator is. So a unit has died somewhere on the map, so I think what happened is that Glevig fired a shot right through here, and Void Reanimator is sitting over here and starting to resurrect these units over here. So there's the Void Reanimator. Void Reanimator gets devoured by Dehaka, and now we also have Diffusion gone. So Diffusion gone, Transmutation gone, there's only Void Reanimator, Temporal Field, not really a particularly difficult mutator. Phoenix moving in on the western lock and clearing this out, and this is a very nice set. So minus the Void Reanimators, this is a really easy set to handle. This is probably the time where you'd probably want to try and clear as quickly as possible, because this is the time to push. So Phoenix has pushed on this side, he's okay now, and these commanders can send something else over there. Ragelot is still waiting, but there is a central lock here that is about to be captured by Amon, so these commanders will have to work their way over here to try and get that. And again, yeah, very, very nice selection here. There's a random Dark Templar. Warbringer doesn't really get too much. Warbringer Teldarn doesn't really get too much benefit out of the Network Administrator Prestige. It's usually Kaldalis, Talus, and Mojo to get a lot of benefit here. Now Dehaka is jumping in, and he's going to be able to deal a lot of damage here. One Devour on that sentry pretty much wipes out the entire attack wave. And over here, Dehaka does have his drone, so that is okay. Phoenix just needing to send his probe across, and his commanders will be capping the central lock over here. So Phoenix is going to be capping this lock by himself. Ideally, you want to send a worker over here, and now there are going to be a few more units here that have been created by the Void Reanimator. Now, one thing to note about the Void Reanimator's mutator on this mutation, especially with Chaos Studios, is even if the Void Reanimators get disabled, any Void Reanimators present on the map will still remain. So you actually have to go and you have to kill the Void Reanimator. So that guy has to die before these things will stop. They will still continue to move around, and they will still continue to resurrect units, and they will still continue to spawn until this icon disappears. After that, no more will spawn, but anyone's present on the map will continue to still do their job. So do pay attention to that. So, you know, some people get misled into a false sense of security when the icon disappears. Those units are still available on the map, and they will still harass you until you've cleared this out. But Phoenix now pushing into the Warbringer. Kaldalis jumping in right on the front line here, and he's just cutting through you. You think he just one-shot that High Templar right there. And that lock now has been cleared. Now there's a double-pronged attack wave on the way, and these attack waves will be making their way, one towards the central lock and one towards the eastern lock over here. So we have Phoenix now moving in, and they will be capping this lock as well. Over here, still nothing on this lock for Phoenix. Phoenix wants to start pushing in. Kaldalis jumps in, and you can see the advantages that he has. It's the Empowered Blades upgrade, by the way, that makes it very, very useful. Kaldalis isn't particularly useful until he has that upgrade. That upgrade allows him to deal cleave damage that is equivalent to his tactical data web buff. So he ends up dealing an insane amount of damage once you start getting this upgrade. And he's able to wipe out attack waves very, very effectively. Dallas here does end up going down. Phoenix getting bounced away by the Twister. And now we have Glevig out here. And now Glevig is going to be able to deal a lot of damage over here. There's a temporary stasis ward that gets used to try and stop those Immortals from dealing a lot of damage to Glevig. And now Glevig does deep tunnel across here, and he's going to be able to one-shot everything over here. Those Immortals pretty much stand no chance, and he has a 3000 HP, so he's going to be able to tank those Immortals without any problems. Phoenix jumping into the fray here and taking out that Hybrid Dog. And it's just insane how quickly things just melt with Kaldalis. But we now have the next mutator that gets added. It is the Mineral Shields. So the Temporal Field mutator disappears, and we have the Mineral Shields. And getting the Mineral Shields in this late stage of the game is really, really nice. Most of these commanders now, at like the 13-minute mark, most commanders have ramped up. Everything else is just basically cream and just a little bit extra So it's nothing really much for these commands. These commands are not going to be affected very much by this mutator because they're already ready to charge in. And now we have Imminent Domain, which is pretty much a freebie as well. As long as you're not using a static defense build, Imminent Domain is just not even a mutator because most commanders are not even affected by it. And now these commanders will be wants to push into the bonus objective here. I would generally not recommend this. I would recommend clearing the mission out as quickly as possible because Chaos Studios, you do not know when you could have bad combinations occur. You do not know when the propagators could spawn, you do not know when you could get just die or you could get polarity. So lots of bad stuff could happen if you're not careful. And now Doctrine is out. Doctrine's sitting at 8,000 HP. This guy is just a complete tank. He is able to take out... Actually, Taldals are working away very quickly on this construct. But yeah, this construct has way too much HP. Much better to try and clear the mission as quickly as possible. Just look at Doctrine go. Just look at this guy. Go, buddy. Just tanking out hybrids, just doesn't care. It's the cannons attacking him. This guy actually cleared out the entire lock over here, and he still has 1,500 HP. Eventually, I think he may end up going down. It doesn't really matter too much. This one worm as well, just clearing everything. This Dehaka, this is absolutely nuts. Yeah, Void Rifts. You see what I mean? So, you know, there are no limits to the difficulty of the mutation that you can get. You can get Void Rifts, Propagators, Polarity, and stuff, and obviously, you know, you're not going to be having a good time. Always better to try and cap this mission out as quickly as possible. And the commanders did get lucky over here. They didn't have to deal with Void Rifts very much. And even now, if the next set of Void Rifts spawn, it doesn't really matter because these commanders are capping these locks and nothing will be able to stop them from capping. So the northern lock has been cleared. And the southern lock has also going to be cleared up as well. So yeah, that is pretty much all. Those are all the locks done. It's basically completely down to RNG. Very unpopular mutation, but reasonable set of difficulty mutators here. And those are all the locks captured. And that is GG.